John was a mystic, you know. He kind of takes the long view. I don't know, when I was working as a district superintendent, we used to call it the balcony view. Stand up on the balcony and you see things a little bit different perspective than you do when you're right down in the midst of them. Our God is an awesome God. Amen? Amen. Who reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. I want you to think about where you have seen God this week. Where have you seen Christ active this week as you have prepared and been in the midst of the busyness of this holy, hectic season? Have you seen Christ at work? Have you seen God in the midst of it all? I have a poem that I want to share with you by one of my favorite authors. Her name is Anne Onimus. And all right, let me do that again. I want to share with you a poem from one of my favorite authors. Her name is Anne Onimus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then again, I'll give you, oh, it takes a little while. We're getting there, we're getting there. And then I would like to take again a moment for you to respond if you have thoughts of where you've seen God at work this week or where you've seen Christ active in the world this week. It's Christmas already. Expectations are high. We all want the perfect Christmas. You know the kind I mean, the kind that we see on Christmas cards. A cozy cottage, nestled warmly at the base of a hill, a thatched roof with ivy climbing up the wall, smoke spiraling from the chimney. It's snowing gently, large, soft flakes falling from a deep midnight blue sky. They seem to appear from nowhere. Snow falling upon snow, upon snow, upon snow. Listen to the soft sound of Christmas carols drifting gently across the night air. In the distance, you can make out the tall spire of the church, windows aglow. The house sits quietly, warm, inviting. A fence surrounds the garden. There are snowmen, big and fat, with hats and scarves, carrot noses and coal for eyes. The windows are lit, and there's such a warm, inviting glow. Let's peek inside. Softly, you tread to the window, listening to the snow scrunch under your boots, the peace of Christmas. Peek in the window. A mother and father finish the trimming of a brightly lit tree, and two children sit playing in front of a fire, brightly glowing orange and amber. It's time for bed, Mom says. Come to the stable, let's light our last candle, the white Christmas Christ candle. Mother, father, a small girl in a pink fluffy dressing gown with a teddy bear clung tightly in her hand, and her older brother, taller and feeling so important. He gets to light the candle this year. They say their prayer, they light the candle, and the baby Jesus is placed in the stable with Mary and Joseph, shepherds and animals and wise men. All is complete. And so upstairs to bed they tumble, joyful, excited, expectant, tucked into bed, kissed and cuddled by Mom and Dad. Tell us the story, they cry. And so Mom gets out the book and reads the same story she has read to them every Christmas Eve. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And the children listen, and the snow falls upon snow upon snow. Bright lights, loud noises, car horns, busy shoppers, wet streets, last-minute shopping, people rushing, laden down with parcels, Christmas lights glare, Christmas carols sound loudly from the stores. In a shop doorway sits a young teenager, huddled in a corner. Cold, shivering, he's wearing a leather jacket. He has a black choker around his neck with studs, a matching set on his wrist. He shivers and shakes from the cold or addiction, who knows. It's Christmas Eve in the city, church bells pealing the good news, shoppers spending, rushing home, tutting under their breath as they glance in the doorway, turning their eyes away quickly, clutching parcels closer to them. The young man sits alone. A tear rolls silently down his cheek. How did this happen? How did he end up here? And the snow falls gently, snow upon snow upon snow. A young girl tucks her daughter in bed. "Mommy, will Santa come tonight?" she asks. "He didn't come last year." "Will we have turkey tomorrow? All the girls at school say they're having turkey." "Mommy, what is turkey?" "Shh, my sweet. You need to sleep now," says her mother. "Let me tell you a story. A long, long time ago, in a place far away, there lived a young woman named Mary. An angel came to visit Mary and told her she was going to be a mummy. But, said Mary, "I have no husband." Outside the small, dingy apartment window, the snow fell. Snow upon snow upon snow. A young boy sits in the doorstep of his home, of what's left of it, glass long blown out by bombs, windows boarded up. He sits and waits for his mother to return from the market. He picks up a stick and draws aimlessly in the sand and thinks about his father. He can almost remember him, his dark hair and beard that scratched him when he cuddled him, how he would pick him up in his strong arms and carry him to the mosque for Friday prayers, how he told them that Allah taught that they must love all people, that peace and understanding was needed, not fear and anger. He watches silently as the armored truck rumbles down the street. Soldiers carrying rifles walk beside, and ahead, looking wary, searching. And he sits, and the sand is blown up into his face as the truck rumbles past, and he waits. He hears the sound of singing coming from the Christian churches, soft, gentle singing of peace and goodwill, of joy and love, of hope. And he waits. And God waits. God watches and waits. Who will welcome me in tonight? Who will do my work tonight? We sit in our churches and we worship and we celebrate the birth of the God-child, and we wait and we wonder, when will joy, hope, peace, and love be born into our world? When will there be no more war, no more hunger, no more lost and lonely children? And God cries, and God waits. The snow falls, snow upon snow upon snow. And a young woman crouches down in a doorway. She stretches out her hand to a young man with black leather and chains and colored hair and a tear-streaked face. She reaches her hand out to him, and he takes it and follows. "Come on," she says. "The bus is here. Pops has some good hot soup. Come and get dry for a while." And God smiled. The snow falls, snow upon snow upon snow. There's a knock at the door of the dingy apartment. The young single mother slowly opens the door. Two older ladies with Santa's hats stand in front of her, laden with parcels wrapped in brightly colored paper, with bows and ribbons, and a cooked turkey with all the trimmings. "Merry Christmas," they say, and leave, singing. Tears of joy run down her face, and God smiled. In a faraway land, a soldier approaches the young boy. "Hello," he says. The boy nods, not looking up. The soldier kneels in the sand beside him. "This is a special time of year for us Christians. It's Christmas, and I can't be home with my family. I have a son about your age, and I wondered if I could give you a gift." The boy looks up shyly. The big, blonde, blue-eyed soldier hands him a book with paper and crayons and paints and brushes. "I see you drawing in the sand each day when I pass, and I thought that this might..." And God smiled. Tonight, we wait for the perfect Christmas. Today, we hope for the perfect Christmas. One when the hope and joy and peace and love of Christmas will never end. Tonight and every night, God waits to be born into our hearts and our lives. God watches and waits for us to take the joy, the hope, the peace, the love of Christmas and share it in all the ways that we can think of with everyone we meet. A smile, a hug, an offering to a food bank, a gift bought for a less fortunate child, a cup of coffee, a visit with a lonely person. It's like lighting a candle and then lighting another from it and then another and another. The glow of the candle spreads, as does the glow of God's love and joy and peace and hope, until one day the glow spreads round the world, one life, one person at a time. So today, on this holy and joyous day, open your hearts and let God be born in you. And so as you think back over the past week, where have you seen Christ in the midst of this holy and busy and hectic week? I'm going to come down front and hold the microphone again in case anyone would like to share. God's been silent this week.
Well, I'll say one thing. I certainly have seen the face of Christ on Pat MacHugh's face all this week and on the faces of this beautiful congregation. I see the face of Jesus on all of you. And I feel so blessed to be part of this beautiful church. And when we leave for a couple of months, believe me, I am homesick for all of you. But I'll remember your beautiful faces. So thank you for this Christmas day.
Thank you, Jane. It's a gift to see Christ on your face. Is there anyone else who would like to share where you've seen Christ this week?
Some of you know that I volunteer at Seeds of Hope in Biddeford, and we had a visit from a man with a red suit and white trim, and the Secret Santa came in to all of the guests that we serve and handed out $100 bills in envelopes. This is part of an effort, I think, $20,000 worth of giveaway, but this was something that touched the hearts of people to the point where some people cried, some people were totally overjoyed. And there's a woman that I know who is volunteering. She has a job as a dishwasher at UNE, and she hopes to go to college in another 5 years and have UNE pay for that if she does her employment satisfactorily. She's about 22. She's been in jail. She's basically a really good kid. And I said to her, this is the real Santa Claus that you're looking at.
I understand from hearing it on the news that over the years he's given away well over $100,000 in that same way.
Well, over the past 2 weeks, I've seen my mom in 2 different skilled nursing facilities. Not an easy thing, knowing that she will never return home. But I was just amazed at the compassion and love that I saw in these 2 places among the nurses and the CNAs who do the most thankless tasks. Very caring. They don't know my mom, and yet they're getting to know her, and I could see relationships beginning to bond. And that leaves me with a feeling, for a person who likes to be in control of every little thing and wants a 5-star hotel for my mom and everything to go perfectly, knowing that these people will care for her because they are full of love and compassion, that's the face of Jesus.
Thank you.
Friday, we saw both our sons in Massachusetts, and the oldest boy finished his chemo treatments for leukemia last Monday, and he seems to be doing all right.
John and I had an email of a couple of weeks ago from one of his friends and compatriots in the Downeasters Barbershop Chorus. And this gentleman and his wife are downsizing, making changes, and they asked us if we would take their nativity set. And they sent us a picture of it, and it was a beautiful many pieces of it. And then they told us that I asked some history, and it was his mother-in-law who had done the ceramic work many years ago, and she'd done one set for each of her 6 children. And then he had built the stable. And so we were very awed by, speaking of being awed, we were very awed by this contact that we had been offered this beautiful set. And so we have it at home, and we look forward to setting it up. It's much larger than we expected that it was going to be. And but we are so blessed, and I'm very humbled that this family would look to us to give it a good home.
May I add, I picked up the space, the family lives in Scarborough, and out of all the Downeasters, I said, how come you offered this set to us? He said, I went through emails, and I saw yours was praise and prayer. So he said, right then and there, I knew it would have a good home.
Praise and prayer. Sometimes it takes so little to be a witness for Christ, doesn't it? It's just amazing. Thank you all so much. As we gather together as family on Christmas Day, we are the family of Christ together. Sharing our stories, sharing what's been going on in our lives is so important, so valuable. So thank you very much.